when it comes to persisting in the wish fulfilled. We can know and understand the law of assumption, and we can be getting it right and getting it wrong at the same time. There are two very common pitfalls that a lot of people stumble into without realizing they're in this hole. And no matter how much they continue to persist and assume their wish fulfilled, they are not getting out of it. And that is why I made this video for you today. If you have been trying to persist and you think you're getting it, but nothing's happening after a good 6 months, then this very well could be the reason why. Stay tuned, because I'm going to give to you what I teach my one-on-one clients in our independent sessions. My name is Allison, and I am here to help you create the life you desire to experience. Not wish for, not hope for, but actually actively participate in creating the life you deserve to experience. So we are going to delve into a little old Neville Goddard topic here today that you are probably familiar with, but let's review. Persistence in the assumption of the wish fulfilled is the secret of its realization. Neville, God love him, had a lot of great insights, but quite honestly, a little difficult to read. I don't particularly enjoy it because he writes in such a Baroque manner. So let's break it down. Assuming the wish fulfilled simply means that you are operating under the guiding assumption that what you want is available, ready, waiting for you, and that you are capable of receiving it. So to persist in the assumption means that I am embodying the energy consistently that matches my desired reality, that makes it a foregone conclusion, a total inevitability. But naturally, after some time passes and nothing seems to change, we begin to question our methods, our beliefs, our limiting beliefs, our identity. And these are important questions and things to consider. Yes, we need to lay the groundwork. We need to rifle through all of those things that are not compatible. So we do that and we continue to persist. But then nothing still happens. Now, many people will continue to dive into limiting beliefs and unearth all of these things that they think must be wrong with them, and therefore keeping away their desired manifestation. Well, after a little while of participating in manifesting, the question becomes, how is it that I am still carrying an energy that must be incompatible, even though I seem to be doing the work to uncover the things that I think are incompatible? And it's not so much a problem with your methods or your beliefs, but in how you are persisting and holding the assumption for your desired manifestation. Let me explain. Let's take Sarah. She's a collegiate athlete, a runner, and she decides she wants to manifest a shoe deal, a nice sponsorship with a big fat paycheck. And so she creates a visualization. She affirms that this is an obvious assumption for her to hold, and she practices running. She persists in the assumption in the ways that are available to her. She wears the brand of clothing. She practices visualization and scripting. She maintains discipline in her athletics, but nothing comes. We can see on the surface that she is genuinely holding and persisting in this energy. On the surface, she's doing everything right. But what if the problem is not her belief or resistance? What if the problem lies within the manifestation itself? What if she doesn't think she looks good in pictures? And obviously, she assumes that taking pictures is a big part of having a shoe sponsorship. What if she feels like she always stumbles over her words and can't articulate herself properly in front of people? And she assumes that part of her shoe sponsorship requires public speaking. Now, see, most of us are trying to call in an expansion to our current reality, a new thing that we haven't experienced before. So of course, there are parts of it that we are unfamiliar with, that maybe we don't feel like we have all of the skills required to fully function in this new reality. And that's a natural type of anxiety to have, but it is an anxiety that is creating resistance that she's not dealing with. People do one of two things. Either they just deny that part of it and just visualize all the fun parts of having a shoe sponsorship, free clothes, big fat paychecks, having everyone know your name. These are the feelings she's probably embodying. And then the details of having her picture taken, a little uncomfortable, having to public speak, a little uncomfortable. She's probably just sweeping that part under the rug. Okay, we might be trying to call in $1 million, but if I got $1 million tomorrow, I don't know how to pay taxes on that kind of a thing, so I don't give it all back to the government. I have no idea how to invest that type of money and not lose it all. So that's probably parts of a manifestation that I'm not including in my vision. But just because I'm sweeping it under the rug doesn't mean there isn't a layer of anxiety and resistance, a vibration of vulnerability, of instability that is there. The other thing that people do when there's parts of their manifestation they don't quite feel comfortable with, they assume the manifestation will take care of it. We assume the manifestation will provide the identity structure, the conditions that will then make me feel comfortable having it, the manifestation. But as we know, we cannot call in something that we are not already a match for. So you can see that in our persisting in the assumption of the wish fulfilled, we are simultaneously holding an assumption that we're not quite ready for it yet. And that's definitely can be a reason why it's not happened yet. Now, in a moment, we're gonna definitely go through some easy solutions to employ to smooth these wrinkles out. But I want to get into a second pitfall first because the solution is same for the both. And if you're making one, it is very likely that you're making the other. So the second pitfall, let me just ask you, are there parts of your reality that you would like to go away? That you would like to have not be there anymore? Of course there are. That is typically where our desires for manifestation and a new reality are born from. Somebody doesn't want to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. They want to manifest abundance. Somebody doesn't want to spend time home alone on their own anymore. They want to manifest a partner. So people create this visualization and begin to persist in the assumption that this manifestation can be true for them. But the problem often is when we get forward thinking, when we're concentrating on that visualization and that manifestation, and we're giving it the energy and the attention it deserves, and we're focusing on this new reality, we often throw to the side and don't deal with the parts of our current reality that we're trying to replace. And the problem there is that we start to persist in this assumption for a new reality while persisting against our current reality. Or in other words, if you were treading water in the ocean and you're thrashing about and you see a rescue ship and you think, oh good, once this ship gets here, I will be saved. I won't have to deal with these turbulent waters anymore. But energetically speaking, the more you resist and thrash about in the water, the more that becomes the only reality you're attracting. Because persisting isn't about holding an assumption that the manifestation will save you. Persisting must be assuming that you can float right now that you don't need saving. We can want a new reality, but it cannot be to save us from the current one, because that assumes two separate realities, and they will never be compatible. Because then you are not persisting in an assumption. You're not holding that energy now of being on the boat, of being saved, of being perfectly fine floating in the water right now. What you're saying is, I'm barely treading water right now, and I cannot save myself. But if I could just get that manifestation to come here and pick me up, I'll be fine. We're trying to persist in this new assumption while continuing to agree that the assumption we previously held that brought us to this current reality is still true. When Neville Goddard spoke about persisting in the assumption of the wish fulfilled, he said, your assumption, to be effective, must be persisted in. But persistence is not effort, it is acceptance. Acceptance is our gateway out of these pitfalls. The true power of persisting in the assumption of the wish fulfilled, the true magnetic attraction of it, is that you can be the result of your assumption right now. People always get hung up. How can I feel like a millionaire when I'm so clearly not? You must feel you are the result of being a millionaire. You have to hold the realization that who I am right now is the result of any reality I want to call in. The thing is that we're not waiting to be gifted a new reality. This is not a special treat. This is the result. It's there, it's ready, it's waiting. But our experiencing it is the result of our continually, consciously choosing the energy that matches it. And so we can work on reformulating our assumptions. What part of my vision do I need to adapt so that I am comfortable and capable right now of fully realizing it? So if I'm that college runner and I don't feel comfortable having my picture taken, and I don't feel comfortable speaking in front of people, then I need to work on my vision. I need to work on that. I need to either remove that as part of it. Who says I have to give press conferences? Maybe I have a special deal that doesn't include that. Maybe my manifestation includes world-class editors who can touch up my pictures and make me look amazing. And this leads me to one of the most effective exercises that I go through with my one-on-one coaching clients. And that is to reverse engineer your manifestation. What does your manifestation want from you? Start reverse engineering. What are the things that I would need to do, and how do I prepare for it? What do I need to eliminate from my vision? What are things I need to allow for in my assumption? What are skills and things I can work on developing now and creating and building up my identity to include these skills? Someone wants to manifest a partner. Well, intimacy. A lot of people are probably scared of being intimate and vulnerable with someone. What are ways in which I can make myself feel comfortable with that idea now? How can I build into the assumption I'm holding that that is going to be easy for me? That this will be a type of relationship where that just comes so naturally. So now I'm just including it in there. I'm including this energy of feeling unsure about being vulnerable and intimate, and I'm just allowing for that. I'm bringing it into the fold. I don't have to, do this whole huge program to totally revamp myself or my ability to be intimate. I can just simply acknowledge it and transmute that energy into something good. And I will naturally fall into a relationship that meets me where I am, with someone who is compatible with the level of intimacy that I'm comfortable with. that my level of comfort will rise because this manifestation will be so wonderful, that it'll just be so natural, and so on. And then once you've really accounted for some of the parts that make you uneasy or some of the details that we were just sort of ignoring, then you become much more comfortable persisting in that assumption. And the more comfortable and confident you are in your assumption, the easier it is to hold that confidence now. The easier it becomes to accept the reality that you're living. Truly giving more vibrational picture, more energetic resonance with the assumption naturally raises your vibration so that the things that are not compatible with this new reality aren't so hard, aren't so difficult, because I'm getting such a clear image and feeling in my body of what it is to persist in this assumption of being someone who has these things. Then you become more and more the result of the assumption now, which gives you the energy to be less resistant to the current reality. So it's about making sure we incorporate those aspects of the assumption that we're hoping the manifestation would just take care of, and allowing ourselves to embody the result of that wish fulfilled now will naturally allow us to detach and have less resistance to the current results of old assumptions. Because the more we can formulate and make our energy coherent with the new assumption, the more that this old one just cannot even exist, which makes us the current effects of the old assumption irrelevant in our life. And for more help with detaching from that old assumption effects, from the current what is resistance, I would recommend watching one of these two videos, because they go really deep into how to detach yourself from that dense energy. And I hope that this video was helpful to you. And if it was helpful, I would so greatly appreciate a like and subscribe, or a comment. I read them all. Thank you.